chances are you have your own before and after picture. Or maybe you're in the before picture trying to get to the after. Maybe you're in the after hoping that this is the last time that you ever leave the after and you stay there forever. And that was kind of me. For 20 years, I gained and lost 50 to 75 pounds every 2 years or so. So depending on when you saw me last, there was no telling how thin or heavy I was going to be. And I will say straight away, I am a fantastic dieter. So losing the weight was never the issue for me, but I could not crack the code on how to maintain it. And it's not like it's rocket science, right? So I had an epiphany when I was in my late 30s, and that was that if I didn't figure out the why did I keep gaining and losing so much weight, that I was going to be trapped in this endless cycle until I died. And it was exhausting, and I just didn't have the energy for it anymore. I decided to take drastic action, and I found a shrink who specialized in eating disorders. And when we went, obviously I'm totally fixated on my weight, right? The way I look, and everything that's wrong in my life is because I'm not thin enough or whatever, what have you. So we go through and we mine my history, and we land on my childhood sexual abuse. And she says to me, your weight is really just a symptom of this. And this was my childhood sexual abuse. And she was like, and until you resolve that, you are always going to be battling your weight. And I will say straight away, I was always aware of my childhood sexual abuse, but it was so deeply shameful that I just never thought about it. I never discussed it. I just tamped it down, lived my life, moved on, past history as far as I was concerned. But here's the thing, that's not how trauma works. So just because I buried it deep underground didn't make it disappear. It just meant that it wasn't at the surface level for me, but it was always just below. And it was gonna come out in some way, shape, or form. And for me, it was binge eating. And you know what? My shrink was right. Once we started focusing on that, my weight became manageable. And I have been roughly the same weight for 16 years, and I am down 100 pounds from my before picture. And that's amazing, because as anybody who's ever had a closet full of clothes that are in all different sizes, it's a relief to wake up every day and know that your clothes fit you. It just is. So that's a beautiful thing. But there's a lot that I want to say here about this. And one of them is, if you find yourself battling the same issue repeatedly, you might not be addressing the root cause. And I am by no means saying that your root cause is my root cause. But there's a lot of trauma out there, so take your pick. And, unfortunately, whether you're struggling with binge eating, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, however you choose to medicate, until you figure out your why, it's probably always going to be a roadblock for you. And, we live in interesting times. And one of the great things about the times we live in now is that there are so many resources out there available to people. So if you struggle with food or binge eating, NEDA is an amazing organization. It's NEDA.org. Or if it's about sexual abuse, RAINN, RAINN.org is another great resource. So try and find some help. And if you truly do not know, like if you can't connect the dots like I couldn't, and you can't afford professional help, it would behoove you to go see someone and help them get to the issue with you. So, it's interesting that in all the time that I was in therapy and battling my weight and what it represented and what it meant, one of the things that I kind of learned was that I think for me, I was always up and down and up and down and up and down because I was trying to find the place where I was comfortable. And that place didn't exist. There was just no comfortable weight for me because I was never comfortable in my own body. And that's a horrible thing, but I don't think I'm unique. I also don't think I'm unique in that all I could see was what was right in front of me. And that's your body. You see it all the time, every time you look in a mirror. So again, if these issues elude you and you're like, I don't know why I keep doing this, try and find some help so you can get some clarity so that you can kind of resolve whatever is driving your binges. And I know that childhood sexual abuse is a horrible topic. It's very difficult. And believe me, I felt ruined most of my life. I really did. I felt ruined. And there is nothing that I would have wanted to do less than have anybody know my secret, which is part of the reason I was able to tamp it down for so long and keep it underground. But there is hope. It is possible to undo the ruin within. I mean, look at me. I am out here now talking about my childhood sexual abuse, and it is out in the open for anyone who stumbles upon it. And you know what? I don't feel ashamed anymore. You know why? Because it's not my shame. And if there's anything that I can impart to anybody, well, there's a whole bunch of things I want to impart, but one of them is whatever happened to you, it's not your fault. It's not your shame, it's not your blame, and you don't need to keep the secrets any longer. And that's the thing about secrets. Secrets kill us from the inside out. They are corrosive and they fester. So if you can, find someone to talk to. And it can be me, you can write to me. I have horrible technical skills, but I will try and find your message. It might just take me a while. So anyway, and for those of you who think, well, you know, maybe it's just her, it's not that common. You know, I wish that was the case, but that's not the case at all. 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 5 boys are sexually abused. So if you're sitting with a group of people, look left, look right, chances are it's one of you. But that doesn't consign you to a lifetime of pain and suffering. It really doesn't. And I think that begins with taking ownership back, taking control back. And that means no longer being ashamed. And again, that was a lifelong journey for me, and I'm so happy I'm to the other side. But I have to say too, the longer I'm kind of out here exploring this space where I'm like, you know what, this is not my shame, I reject it. Childhood sexual abuse is the shame that is like too horrible to be spoken, and it really is just an affront to me and everyone else who walks in these shoes. Like, it's just wrong. So here are my goals for this channel. I'm going to talk about binge eating because that is part and parcel of who I was, who I am, right? And it is about trying to find peace within yourself and manage life so that you can find food to be pleasurable and enjoyable, which it is. We're also going to talk a lot about childhood sexual abuse because that's part and parcel of who I am too. And that's okay. I mean, I think I spent most of my life trying to disavow it, but disavowing gets you a great big nowhere. It's learning how to accept and integrate. So it is possible. And the third thing is that we are going to take childhood sexual abuse out of the shadows because, by golly, as many people as it affects, it should be something that outrages us all. So the fact that it is the secret that shall not be spoken, enough, no more. So I hope this helps, and I just want you to know that I'm rooting for you.